HP Imagine 2023.
Yeah, so I was here in Palo Alto for HP Imagine, and it was a really fascinating event. Couple of device, well, you were on virtually, so you saw a lot of it. They had some things that were virtual and kind of public open, and then we had some smaller sessions where it was just the executives, and we had a device tour where we could walk around. Actually, got to see like the original offices of the
Yeah, that's
founders.
cool.
Those were really cool. I actually have some pictures. I'll post
Cork, the Cork uh, floors. Yeah, I've been there.
those. Yeah, pretty cool. Um, but I think one of the things that I thought was really interesting in this, and you kind of have focused a little bit more on the devices, so I want to get your take on a lot of the device stuff. But one thing I think HP has really gotten things right on this is that they're really paying attention to how people want to work. It's not just hybrid or in office, it's just about flexibility. It's about where people want to work. And they have this really cool setup where you kind of walk in and it's like a kitchen, like you're sitting at a kitchen counter. And how would you work at the kitchen counter? And where do these devices kind of fit into your life if in like from the kitchen counter to an executive board meeting? And all the devices are sort of really thoughtfully planned around how people are working. The portable devices, like the foldable that I'll let you talk about because that's definitely your arena. But the the devices that you can just pick up and move from room to room with no cords. And the way that they're just really thoughtfully designed, everything from sustainability to weight to travelability to durability, the colors, the designs, the way that it makes people feel like in terms of fatigue and really, really thoughtfully designed. That part was so interesting. And then I'm gonna leave the printing stuff for the hot or not segment because they had a cool introduction there too. But yeah, you saw some of the devices and uh, I thought some pretty compelling things.
Yeah, so disclosure, I worked for HP. I worked for Compaq starting in 1995. I was a product manager for consumer desktops. And you probably know that HP bought Compaq, and HP had their own PC division, but at the time, Compaq was number one market share and most profitable company in PC. I actually know some of the players that were still there, like Stacy Wolf was
Yes.
an engineering manager when I was a product manager there. So it's pretty cool to see what the team has done. And ironically, they came out with a very cool edition of a product that the team had worked on in 1998, which was a luggable desktop with a flat panel. And I have to tell you, I can't, again, n equals 1 or n equals 10 doesn't necessarily mean, market success. But I had a lot of people say, wow, that is really innovative. That is really something that's new. This is really cool. Essentially, it's a large flat panel desktop that you pick it up, and the feet get sucked up into the base, which is cool. And there's a handle on the top, and you can protect the display by putting it's probably a manufactured cloth over it, but it has room for the handle to lift up. And I just think, I applaud HP for, swinging for the fences with innovation. And I think, Lenovo does a pretty good job, but sometimes I think their consumer centric focus is on Asia. And I think HP's is primarily on the West.
Mhm.
And I think they do a really good job doing it. The second thing that I thought that was interesting, and they had announced this previously, but they gave some more details and let people play with a 17-inch foldable. And you can use it three different ways. You can use it with a keyboard where it's 17-inch out. You can use it as a notebook where um, part of the display you can use as a keyboard, or you can snap on a keyboard that's magnetic, and then use half of the 17-inch as your as your display. But I think we're getting closer and closer to where these foldable devices become a little bit more commonplace, and they become a lot more easy to use. And I do think it's a slow boil. I think things like the new Spectre Fold, Samsung Galaxy Fold will become more mainstream as costs go down. This is a $5,000 product, so it's not going to be for everybody. But I like what they did, though, in terms of instead of trying to sell this display and then have you, oh, I need a keyboard. Let's go, and then I need to set this up. Oh, what I need is a docking station to be able to connect this thing to other displays. It comes in the box with it.
Yeah.
So, and it's fully set up. I mean, you don't have to set up. I mean, how many of these Windows devices have you bought? Well, I think you're probably more of a Mac person, so maybe none. But
I've had in the past, yeah.
Anybody who set this stuff up, you have to set up Bluetooth, and what they did is they made this more of an Apple-like experience where they integrated these devices, and I think that's just a positive.
Mm-hmm.
I am not as impressed as I nearly have been to get my hands on one of these, but this is an absolute I want it, and I hope HP doesn't watch this video because I'll probably buy one if they don't let me use one. It's $5,000, but that thing looks sexy.
It's really beautiful, and it's really impressive how flat and nice the screen looks, because you think like it would have some sort of, not a seam, but where you can kind of see where it's folded. I think some of the Samsung devices, you kind of see that little, it's like the tiniest little bit of like a crinkle. This thing is just like flat. I mean, it's really beautiful. And the way it's designed so that it holds the keyboard. So you're talking about Stacy Wolf, he's the head of design. All of the things that he talked us through with just the way that not just how like the keyboard is tucked away or the pen is like magnetically applied, but then how they put the battery in so that the weight is equal on both sides, but it's really lightweight, so that it's not going to topple over because it only has the battery on one side or the other. So it really is it's a really nice device. They also showed some HP products so I kind of got like a double up of HP, or sorry, not HP, Poly, of Poly devices, because Poly introduced a couple of new like room bundles for Zoom that they had at Zoomtopia. And then they were also there yesterday. Another thing, like you were saying, with pairing, a lot of the Poly headsets just automatically pair to these new devices. Those, I don't find the Poly setup to be very hard. It's like, you scan a QR code and it pairs pretty easily. But if you just have to open it up and it's paired, I mean, that's a no-brainer. Make that easy for people. But yeah, it was a good event. There was a lot of information. There was a lot of press there. So it was a little bit of, lots of things coming from different directions and people filming their videos for them to post online and everything. But it was a good chance to just have some hands-on time with that. Because like you said, I'm not sure they're going to send me one anytime soon. I mean, maybe.
I'll tell you what, we're in the same city here. If they send me one, I'll give you some hands-on time to get your feedback on it. And one thing,
Alex Cho, who said to say hello to you.
Gosh, Alex is such a good guy. He's just such a good guy, and he's so empathetic. And I think that's one of the things that makes him such a good product person out there. And by the way, before we move on to printing, I did want to hit one of their services that I have been talking about for 5 years, and this was HP Managed Collaboration Services. Not that I've talked about their service, but the need for this that I think upends a lot of the older companies out there that are in these rooms. So kind of a one-stop shop if you're a business where you can essentially say, give me room equipment as a service, and you get immediate tech support from the manufacturer. You're paying for use. You're not necessarily paying for the hardware, and then with a service fee on top of it. So a lot of elements to simplify. And I think what they're trying to do here is really address the, how do we get this thing connected in a room? Which when it's PC to PC, it's not an issue, right? We do it 10 times a day. but when it's room to PC or PC to room, it seems to be some big issue, right? And this is one of the problems we're trying to solve. The only thing I don't fully understand is how this integrates with the channel. But again, a lot of research that I need to do on this to fully get underneath that.